The first time the house said my name, I thought I imagined it. It was barely a whisper, folded into the sound of the wind sliding through the hallway vents, brushing past the old wallpaper. A sound so soft, so delicate, it felt like it had come from inside my own head. Nomen. I froze in bed. The digital clock beside me glowed 2:41 a.m., too early for nightmares, too late for logic. I held my breath. Every creak, every sigh, every faint groan of the old house seemed louder than usual. Nothing. The house was old. That much was true. Old houses creak. They settle. They sigh when the temperature drops. I had memorized its noises over the years. The loose step near the stairs. The tick inside the walls. The way the pipes complained at night. But it had never spoken. I told myself it was stress. Lack of sleep. The pressure of too many long nights working alone. A tired brain, reaching for meaning in noise. I lay back down. Closed my eyes. That was my mistake. The second time, it was closer. Nomen. Not whispered. Clear. Certain. It didn't come from the hallway this time. It came from inside the walls. I sat up so fast my vision blurred. My heart slammed against my ribs, loud enough that I expected the house to hear it. For a moment, I was afraid to move. Afraid that whatever had spoken would speak again if I did. But silence pressed in. I got out of bed, turned on every light in the hallway, then the kitchen, then the living room, bright, empty, normal. No shadows where they shouldn't be, no open doors, no movement, still the feeling stayed. That heavy awareness, like being watched, not from a corner, not from behind furniture, but from everywhere at once. Like the house was paying attention. That night, I didn't sleep. The third night, it didn't wait until I was in bed. I was standing in the kitchen, rinsing a glass, when it said my name from behind the refrigerator. No, man. I dropped the glass. It shattered across the tile, sharp and loud, small fragments slicing my slippers. I spun around. Nothing. The sound hadn't echoed. It hadn't bounced off walls. It had been absorbed, like the house swallowed it. After that, it began experimenting. Sometimes my name came from the ceiling above my bed, slow and stretched, testing how it sounded out loud. Sometimes from the kitchen sink while the water ran. Sometimes from the hallway when I passed, the syllable soft, teasing, almost like a whisper meant to follow me. Once, from behind me while I brushed my teeth, I felt a shiver run down my spine. I saw my reflection flinch before I did. I stopped sleeping, stopped answering, stopped reacting. When I heard my name, I stayed still. I learned how to breathe quietly, how to listen without listening. That's when the house changed its tone. The doors started opening on their own, not slamming, not violently, just opening. Slow hinges, patient movement. Floorboards began creaking in patterns, steady, deliberate footsteps that followed me from room to room. Never rushing, never stopping unless I did. I could feel where they were without seeing them, always just behind me. Why won't you look at me? The voice wasn't angry. It sounded hurt. That was worse. The walls shifted as it spoke, not physically, but acoustically. I backed into my bedroom and locked the door. The handle turned anyway. Not forcing, not struggling, just checking. That was when I understood something I hadn't allowed myself to consider before. It wasn't trapped in the house. The house was its body. I packed a bag before sunrise. I didn't turn off the lights, didn't grab anything sentimental, just essentials. As I walked down the hallway, the footsteps matched mine perfectly. When I stopped, they stopped. When I reached for the front door, the handle turned before I touched it. The house sighed, not a sound, a breath. You taught me your name, it said gently, from everywhere at once. Now stay long enough for me to learn your face. The lights went out. All of them. The door locked, not with a click, but with a slow, settling pressure, like something sinking into place. I felt the walls lean in. The air grew warmer, thicker, darker. And then, from inside the walls, from the wood, the pipes, the wires, I felt it smile. Not a face, a presence, patient, learning, waiting for me to turn around. I didn't. I couldn't. I just felt it there, everywhere, waiting. And somehow,